What's going on, everyone? Bulldozer1 bringing you the 8.1 review of Vigor. It just dropped today, and I've already sunk my teeth into about 9 encounters. I have had a couple threats, I've died a couple times, I've got my hands on the weapons since their changes, I've taken a look at the inventory, I've played with a diverse inventory through the matches to kind of take a look at some stuff. I probably could spend a little more time with encounters and getting hands-on to have like the most appropriate perspective, but I wanted to make this video as a review early on to get it out there for you guys. As a PlayStation player, I just want to say right away, Season 1, the Legacy season that came out, is freaking awesome. I'm really glad that the devs decided to let other players go back and, you know, earn some of the stuff that came out on other consoles, on other platforms, and was not available to us. So this is a really cool opportunity for people that want to be like the collector and get all the stuff in the game. I'm loving it. As far as the inventory changes go, with special issue, military, all the different tiers and the restrictions, I think there's a serious conversation that needs to be had. Being limited to 2 portables per game is pretty cool. I mean, it's a different type of situation for me as a player. Early on, I never used ports. I figured out what they were. I was like, oh wow, these are really useful and cool. By the end of Season 7 and going into the early stages of Season 8, I had become friends with the savage, bloodthirsty wolf packs who would go out there and you know, run 3 to 6, sometimes more ports a game. And so I went through a phase where I was like a learning player, and I really did not like getting just taken out by the player that I then became. So I kind of have this full circle perspective, and I have an appreciation for the people that were using, I'd say, you know, 3 to 6 ports a game. To me is totally reasonable, because now that we're restricting the ports, the real problem is going to come out. And the problem to me in this game is it's a fun, kind of slower paced tactical shooter, and the portables made it more interesting and faster paced and fun for like a certain part of the community. But there is like this huge chunk that's now going to really suffer, because there are camping players. There are players that just sit in a bush with a bugle in camouflage all game long, whether they're at an exit or not, and you're like having fun, whether you're solo or you're with a team and you're doing stuff and everything's cool, and then the portables do not work correctly in the game right now. So you go to ping and it shows some dude all the way on the other side of the map. You go to like the next POI, or you're like, oh, you know, there's gasoline over there, and then the cheese ball in the bush with the bugle and the camo, who's done nothing all game, rocks you because your portable didn't work. And this is without a jammer. This happened to me today. I'm venting a little bit about what happened to me today. I'm not trying to make this a personal rant video, but I was in the vicinity of this dude, and I was kind of skulking around the forest on Sagbrook. There's like the area where there's the cabin, and I was kind of orbiting that area the whole game, helping my team. We secured a POI in that area, and it was all cool. So I used my port towards the end of the round, and someone at Fisherman Village got pinged, and this guy with this bugle was 10 feet away from me in a bush, and he walked up and just blasted me. And I thought it was my teammate, because I'm like, oh, there's no way, you know, there's an enemy here. There was no disruptor, there was no jammer, there was no nothing. And that's going to happen to a lot of people with the way that the portables are acting right now. And the number isn't really the issue. I say a limit of 3 would be totally fine, because that was the previous stack limit. That's 3 to me sounds cool. But I don't want to make this video all about the portable situation. I've already spent a lot of time talking about it. Let's talk about the weapon changes. So the H-bar is still rocking. I love the H-bar. They reduced the damage on it. It's a little more wily with its recoil, but I was never really a spraying kind of player. I do bursts, and the H-bar doesn't feel too different. So I love the H-bar. I'm going to continue using the H-bar. It's not as meta and scummy, I guess, as it once was before, but it still feels like a very reliable all-around weapon for me to use, so I'm going to continue enjoying that. The SG-1 was definitely a gun that I liked using, but since the patch, I've noticed it's not the magazine limitations, but the way it performs, I guess. I used the G3 occasionally. It was fun. I used it in elimination a lot, obviously, with the random loadouts, and I brought it into encounters for fun. But the G3 just doesn't perform well, and the SG-1 is now exactly like that, and has that same magazine, which is fine. The magazine is fine, but the gun just doesn't feel as stable, and it's gotten me killed twice today after 8.1. And I'm not the best player, but I could definitely have destroyed the players that got me with the way the SG-1 used to be, and maybe that's okay, because I enjoyed that just Cadillac fire, just dominating assault rifle that it was. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to deny that. So it's I felt it. Probably won't use it as much. I love the optics on it, so maybe Anna can, maybe Phil can. But yep, could definitely tell there. I used the bugle and noticed that there's virtually no changes. So I'm guessing that the bugle is going to be for the players that continue to still play this game and hunt, kind of, or just want to be a top tier killer in a match. The bugle is going to be on that meta list for sure. Hopefully it doesn't result in a nerf, because it's a hard gun to get. Maybe with a blueprint coming out in the future, it'll be more common, so they will nerf it, because it is going to dominate the usage for sure. The ADR is pretty rocking with the bloom fixes. Oh, thank you dev team, by the way, for fixing the bloom fixes, and thank you to some of the other content creators and partners that have been vocal since they've discovered it. I really appreciate the fact that it was made very aware to the community, and I think that it's fixed from what I can see. All the weapons are performing great. There is limitations obviously on the SG-1 and the H-bar, so those got reduced, but overall the weapons are performing better, which is awesome. So good on the team for that. As far as the gameplay and flow go, everything is slower. I noticed the movement of the characters is slower, so my character feels a little more blocky now. When I go to run, it feels like, all right, it doesn't feel as easy to strafe or move around. And this is cool, because it focuses, all right, that point A to point B, going to make a sprint to that. You can still accomplish that goal, but seeing a player across the map and just running at them at some like Fortnite zigzag bullshit pattern and dodging like every single bullet, whether it was lead, iron, whether it was like a leading target shot, a direct on shot, iron sight shot. I mean, there was some weird latency bouncing going on. I call it weaving. Some of my other friends call it weaving. And it looks like the update has solved that problem. So thank goodness, because I eventually adopted the tactic of weaving because it was so damn effective, and people would run in with a bugle and a handful of ports and just bounce back and forth the whole match, running towards everybody, and they would kill them. And it was like, wow, man, that is that is so cheesy. And I eventually started doing it too, and I'm just very thankful that is hopefully ended, because I felt pretty scummy playing that way. With that, with the slowing of the gameplay and the movement system, I noticed also that the weight, like the carrying capacity, is pretty different. Like if you have a full pack, it's like you might as well just leave the encounter, because by the time you get to the exit, the radiation's already going to be halfway across the map. I mean, the characters move so slow now with a full pack, which is cool, because it's like, okay, your pack is full. You shouldn't be able to run around like a I don't know, like a marathon runner who's not carrying anything. I don't know what kind of comparison I'm drawing here, but it's just going to create an incentive of lightly carrying players that wipe the map and then loot. I think that's going to be a strategy. Maybe that's going to develop. You're going to see people carrying just enough ammo, or just enough to kill everyone and maintain like a lightness, and then do all the looting after the map is quiet and dead. But the gameplay has been slowed down as well, so it might balance out. But I've played a few encounters today where I'll do well and my pack will be full, and then I have to really make that judgment call, like, am I gonna even go for the crate? Because I don't know if I can A, make it to the crate on time, B, not have a reliable portable to help me get to the crate safely when I'm in range, and C, if someone engages me and I'm like traversing to the crate, whether I'm like going through the mud and battery, or whether I'm going across the top of the hills in Fisk, or the frozen lake on Forest, whatever it is, my movement is so reduced that taking the risk of even going to the crate now is it's a big risk. It's definitely amplified the risk of that. So I think the movement speed could be tweaked a little bit. It feels really limiting when you have like a half inventory or 3/4 inventory. So hopefully there can be some balancing there with the movement speed. I do like the fact that the weaving has seemingly been taken out of the game, so that's cool. All right, what else? I think it's kind of an older topic, but it would be really awesome if we could get more diverse maps in elimination and shootout, because those are the same since I've started playing the game for PlayStation, and they haven't changed. I know the devs say they're working on them, but I think we need to fix the audio cues. All right, so here, let me back up. I'm gonna start my list of please fix portables. Please allow us to have at least 3 portables per person, because that's one former stack. Please fix shootout with the crate system. It's horrible. Please add maps. Please add audio cues so campers don't dominate this game. If you can solve those problems, I think that Vigor can maybe make it a couple more seasons, and hopefully we can figure out more fun things to add as a community. Thank you everyone who's stayed this long, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until the next time.